Eddie, August 12th we go again. Dillian Whyte, anthonyjoshua, O2 Arena. I mean, many consider this a high-risk fight.
Big time. I mean, I'm glad I'm talking to you from talkSPORT because you're like our last line of defence with AJ. You're the only one who's sticking the flag in the sand, you know, for him. Your local boy, and I think it's a great fight. I think it's what both guys need. I think it's what British boxing needs. I mean, let's be honest. You know, we haven't really seen a lot of big British nights over the last 12, 18 months, you know, going back to maybe, I don't know, Brooke Khan, and we had Ben Eubank last year that faded away. So I think this is a great fight. Every time we went to an opponent for AJ, pre-Deontay Wilder, which is virtually agreed, he just weren't up for it. You know, it was like Wallin, Kabayel, you know, and he was just like, what about Dillian Whyte? You know, that's a great fight. That's a fight I can get up for. And you know Dillian's going to be dangerous in this fight. Two guys that have everything on the line, really. And I think it's going to be a very, very tense, tight, violent affair.
Well, listen, they have got history, haven't they? Boxing 2009 back in the amateurs. I was there, actually, for that fight, and it was a real ding-dong. AJ had to pick himself off the floor. Dillian won that fight. The fight, we fast forward to 2015, O2 Arena, British and Commonwealth titles. And it was another tough night for AJ there. I mean, he got rocked in that second round. People don't realise how badly hurt he was in that round. Because I see him, and it took him a couple of rounds to recover, and maybe inexperience let Dillian Whyte down in that one. So, like, it is a really high-risk fight with what's on the table for anthonyjoshua out in Saudi Arabia. I mean, if he lost this fight against Dillian Whyte, would he lose that deal out in Saudi
100%.
Arabia?
I mean, that was part of the conversations with Saudi Arabia last week, which was basically from their side, please don't fight Dillian Whyte. Just, if you're going to fight, I mean, please don't fight at all, but please don't fight Dillian Whyte, because if you do and you lose, this fight's off. And I'm sitting there, you know, I know the number, and I'm thinking, we don't need to fight Dillian Whyte, you know.
And like I say, it's such a high-risk fight because stylistically,
but
it always causes AJ problems.
Yeah, but
does it bring the best out of him?
If you can't beat Dillian Whyte, it's probably unlikely you beat Deontay Wilder. I mean, anything could happen in heavyweight boxing. But people keep talking about the risks and the downside of getting beat. I look at the upside. If AJ goes in with a dominant display against Dillian Whyte in a good fight and stops him and looks great, the momentum going into the Deontay Wilder fight. At the moment, people looking at the Wilder fight going, oh, that's a bad fight for AJ. You're only ever one performance from changing things mentally to say, do you know what, I fancy this now. I'm convinced he beats Deontay Wilder. But I want to see him go back to his ways against Dillian Whyte, look ferocious and win well. But for Dillian Whyte, he's thinking, I'm going to jump in and get the Wilder fight in Saudi. You know, and he's rolling the dice as well.
I mean, is it a calculated gamble, really, taking the Dillian Whyte fight? Because
I'll let you know on August the 13th.
But like you say, going back like the two losses to Alexander Usyk, a lot of people wrote, and they're too quick to do that in my opinion. Like, a lot of people wrote anthonyjoshua off. Then he comes back against Jermaine Franklin, wins, but doesn't look particularly convincing. It was like it won a great performance from him. Spoke to him after that fight. And he said to me, "Listen, I still recognise that me and Derek James are still working on things. I still need to implement things into my style to improve more." So people see this as, for Dillian Whyte, as a great opportunity with AJ, maybe with his confidence not where it should be. I mean, that's the reality of it.
And I think that Dillian today might be looking to exploit that. I would be if I was Dillian. I'd be trying to get in his head. I'd be trying to question his confidence and his belief as well. When I saw AJ in Dallas last week, a couple of things stood out. One is, I can't believe how good things are with Derek. Derek's an unbelievable trainer. We're gelling so well. Like, in the first camp, he was enjoying it, but I just feel like they've taken that time. Secondly, happy, excited, you know, and looking forward to a real fight. And also acknowledging that his performance against Franklin was poor. You know, I said to him, Franklin, we've got Franklin on the show this week in Detroit. I said, he's a good fighter. He went, oh, it was terrible that night. I was like, rather than, oh, yeah, no, it wasn't a good performance. But next time it'll be much better.
And Dillian's a guy that can bring that out in him, because for me, I think that's how AJ gets his fire back in his belly, because he knows that Dillian will see this as an opportunity where he'll roll the dice early and AJ will have to fight, and if he doesn't fight, like you say, he comes unstuck.
Yeah, and you know, although Dillian's now with Buddy McGirt, you see him trying to work behind the jab more, these guys ain't silly. They're going to know, walk him down, put pressure on him, try and make him gas, question his confidence, and land. I mean, you talk about that left hook in the first fight. That was a huge left hook, which he walked onto, which he jumped onto, by the way. You know, people talk about him being hurt in that fight. He was hurt, but I'll tell you what, he actually took it well.
Yeah.
I mean, he recovered. He also gassed out rather than just being hurt because the fight was mad. You know, it's the first time he goes in, he's got Stormzy rapping him out. They're fighting after the bell, you know, and it's a much more mature fight. Both of them, much more mature now, cleverer, but still the same kid. The same kid that actually want to go in there and do damage. And I know AJ's got a bit between his teeth. I know Dillian Whyte will have the bit between his teeth. And it'll be really interesting to see what we get today from both men. I'm looking forward to the head-to-head.
I think it'll be a fiery head-to-head today. Like, people are talking about these guys being more mature now and, you know, more down the road. But I know the history of them both. And I know that they generally don't like each other. And, you know, when that happens, Dillian will be trying to get into Anthony Joshua's head. And, you know, that's where I see it.
Yeah, and I think Dillian would be wise to, you know, because I think AJ is an overthinker. You know, he's a smart guy, he's a smart fighter, but I would want to put him back on the plane with that head-to-head in mind.
Yeah, of course.
You know, step to him, look him in the eyes, maybe bring the heads together. I mean, I'm going to be ducking and bobbing and weaving behind them because I think you never know when these two start rolling around, but that's what I would be doing.
Yeah.
I would be trying to question where AJ's at with his career.
Yeah,
You know,
trying to get
I would
inside.
say I'm going to end you.
Yeah, get
I'm
inside
going
his
to
head.
end your career on August the 12th.
Sure. Why did you choose the O2, by the way? Why didn't we go to a stadium?
And that
with
was
this?
another problem with the offer. That's why I never thought the fight would happen, because we'd gone for the O2 on August the 12th. I expected a smaller fight, right? Then all of a sudden we're 5 weeks out and we're in, you know? So the deal that was offered to Dillian Whyte actually was the right money for the O2, but we know we could have sold out a stadium. I mean, we're sold out already on day one. We could have easily done Wembley or Spurs, but there's also something special about the O2, you know,
How
for these
difficult is it to get a fight together, a fight of this magnitude, in, like, what are we talking, 4 or 5 weeks?
Yeah, a lot easier when you're indoors.
Yeah.
You know, if you all of a sudden switch to a stadium, there's a lot of planning that has to go into that. And we're happy to be in the O2 Arena. We're sold out. We can just build the pay-per-view now, build the fight, and get excited. And I think, like I said, I think British boxing needs this fight. I think it's a great fight.
What sort of undercard are we expecting?
Really good. World Championship fight as well. I mean, I was hoping to announce today. We're probably a couple of days away. We've got Fabio Wardley's here today looking at his next fight. Derek Chisora wants to fight on the card. Maybe Hrgovic against Dempsey McKean, final eliminator. Johnny Fisher's going to be in his first championship fight on the card. Ebony Bridges will defend her world championship as well. So going to be plenty from top to bottom. And the job this week is not just to secure that undercard, but secure our schedule from August to December, which we're working on right now.
Brilliant. Listen, other heavyweight title fight going on over in Poland.
Saw it,
actually, yeah, August the 26th. Press conference today. What do you think about that? Alexander Usyk, Daniel Dubois. It's interesting, actually. Alex Krosok said today that he was saying that he doesn't think that the WBC should allow Tyson Fury to keep his title if he boxes in Ghana. Yeah. What do you think about that?
I don't know. I mean, firstly, I don't mind the Usyk Dubois fight. I don't see Daniel winning many rounds, but he's a live dog because he's a big puncher, and we know that Usyk can be hurt. And good luck to him. Love to see Dubois win that fight. In terms of the Fury and Ngannou fight, it is what it is. You know, people keep trying to get sound bites out of me, not you, but to say what a disgrace it is and all this. Fury's Fury. He wants to make money. Ngannou could fight Tyson Fury 1,000,000 times and never beat him. Tyson's going to make, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 million. But it's not really boxing. And it's not really in the spirit of trying to find what we all want as fans, which is the best v the best. And there was an opportunity to make Fury Usyk, which hasn't been made. But at the same time, I can't knock Fury as well. Everyone's different. And for Fury, he wants to make as much money as quickly as possible. And he's doing it in a fight he can't lose. So I think the WBC should order a mandatory, but strip him, bit harsh.
Listen, we are getting the fights, so we did want to see the heavyweights in action.
Nearly.
They're all getting out now. We're getting Anthony Joshua out. You know, I don't know what Deontay Wilder's doing. He's talking about fighting maybe in September. Fury's busy as well. Usyk's busy. Do you think that we're going to get this over the line out in Saudi sometime? Possibly not this year, early next year?
Yeah, I think, December, January, we're in for the Wilder fight. If AJ beats Dillian Whyte, he will fight Deontay Wilder 100%. I can't talk on behalf of Fury. You never know what he's going to do, but I hope he fights Usyk because, and then maybe Dubois wins. Who knows? But it's good to see the big fights starting to be made. Usyk Dubois is a good fight. Fury against Ngannou is what it is. AJ against Dillian Whyte's a cracker. So you got Dempsey McKean, Philip Hrgovic in a big fight. So good to see the heavyweights fighting. We do want to see an undisputed champion. We should look to that in every division, but the fighters have got to want to fight.
Brilliant. Listen, Eddie, have you bought your gum shield?
No, everyone's
you
been
might
saying
need it
that.
out there. You know, you might be.
Imagine the views. Imagine the views.
It's all about the numbers.
Yeah.
Listen, thanks so much.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Right, mate.